Hi, you guys. Happy Wednesday. I know it's been a long time since I've made you a cooking video, and I had joked before it's because I don't know how to cook anything else, but you know, the truth is too, you kind of get in ruts, and I'm gonna make something tonight I haven't made for a couple years, and that is a chicken soup with wild rice and mushrooms, okay? Now, I am doing this sort of like I would do it in the crock pot, sort of like a dump kind of situation, partly because I'm trying not to saute everything in butter so that we can get ready for spring break. But, you know, so to that end, I had a roast chicken that I've picked pretty well. I mean, maybe not up to your standards, but you know, that this carcass goes in the freezer and waits to be turned into chicken stock. So, you know, I'm not too draconian about getting it all off because we want our chicken stock to taste like something. But what I got off of it was about 3 cups of chicken, if I pushed it down a little bit. And I'm gonna add that in a little bit. But first, so I wanna tell you over here from our last batch of chicken stock, I have 2 quarts of chicken stock that I have been melting on the stove. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I had it up kind of high. And then I also have some dried mushrooms that should have been in 2 cups of water, but it looks like 2+, right? Because the mushrooms are gonna take up some volume too. So get it over the line. So this makes some mushroom broth. And I am gonna pour that through a strainer and then chop up these dried mushrooms pretty finely. Dried mushrooms pack a big punch. You really don't need a ton. I think it was about maybe 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup. And these are some chanterelles that I got at the farmer's market in the fall. You see the bag is still pretty full. I took out that much. So those will go in a little bit. Now, the thing I want to get in first is the wild rice because it takes forever to cook. Now, I have just regular wild rice. If you have one of those like blends, let me get a measuring cup. If you have one of those blends that is, you know, a bunch of different things, usually what they've done is they've converted it, right, so that it will cook faster. So you don't need to take these same measures, but, and I don't remember if I said this already, but I'm trying to cook with less butter here in the spring, getting ready for spring break. So, I'm gonna do it sort of like I would do it in a crock pot, which is why I started with the broth instead of with sauteing things, okay? So I'm gonna take 2/3 of a cup of wild rice. Now, that doesn't sound like very much. I mean, it might even be too much. I feel like every time I make something with rice, it puffs up so much. In fact, I think I'm gonna make more like 1/2 cup. I'm always sorry if I overdo it. So 1/2 cup of wild rice, okay? I'm gonna put that straight in there because it takes forever to cook, right? We're gonna put that in. I am going to next cut up some celery. And actually, you know what I'm gonna do too? Where's my little strainer? My baby strainer's missing. This is what happens. Oh, there we go. And other people are putting the dishes away. I'm gonna pour these mushrooms through a strainer so that I can get the juice into the pot. And, right, and I will cut these things up later. You see, they kind of double in size, but that's still not a ton. Now, I have 2 regular ribs of celery, and I'm gonna cut the ends off. The dog thinks he wants celery, and he is so wrong. So remember what we do with the celery, because it has these strings, it guides your knife. So I am gonna cut this in half, both of these in half, lengthwise before I go across. And I'm gonna cut those up. The celery takes forever to cook too. And quite frankly, this is not for dinner. This is for me to be eating for lunches and stuff, and later on. I have some other dinner going on the left side of my stove. And this is just gonna cook all through dinner, and then, you know, it's gonna have to simmer for at least an hour because of the celery. And, you know, as I said, I'm making this sort of more like a crock pot recipe where you can just dump everything in it. So if you want to sort of mentally get there, You know, think of it that way. You don't have to be watching this. And now I have this teeny tiny onion. And again, I know I usually saute everything, but you don't have to. And I'm just not going to today. One of the reasons you saute onions and celery is it cooks them faster. Now too, I might even shortcut the veg and put some of these veg in this chicken bag, even though I keep a stock bag with these celery ends and onion ends to make our nice chicken stock. I might just throw all that in the same bag. Anyway, so I'm gonna cut this onion really finely. You know, sort of 1/8 of an inch dice. And get that all in. And the other thing is, I know I did those dried mushrooms at the end, not at the very end, but towards the end when you have about a half hour of cooking left. I am going to saute the mushrooms, like the regular, like the white mushrooms, in some butter and garlic to give them a little flavor. Now, yeah, just, you know, whatever mushrooms. These need to be washed, and you take the stems out and just chop up the caps, and that'll be really nice. I'm trying to think. Oh, we need herbs. We need herbs. And we need salt. So I have, you know, it's not summer, so I don't have my lovely garden, but I do have some dried herbs. We're gonna do like, I mean, that's like a half a teaspoon of dried, well, thyme, and we'll do some marjoram. Remember, we're not a margarine house, we're a marjoram house. Another half a teaspoon of that, and maybe some tarragon, because mushrooms and chicken are nice with tarragon. Another half teaspoon. And you know what? You just keep those things out and taste it. And if it doesn't taste like it's enough, add some more later. Okay, I'm gonna add a bay leaf. And what else should we add? We're gonna add a pinch of our favorite quatre épices, which is maybe 2 pinches. It's white pepper, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. And some salt. I took the salt down because it's behind where my phone was. So you guys, even though we're in the salt shop. This is that nice gray salt that's really salty. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of that because my chicken stock does not have salt in it. Now, is that everything? Other than the mushrooms. So I'm gonna take these when we get off camera and chop these up a little bit. I mean, they're not totally big, but you know, maybe cut that in half, right? Just chop it up. And I'm gonna throw in the chicken now, because why not? I'm trying not to be monitoring things. And, oh, we should add some carrots. So you know my hack, as my daughter says, my hack is using pre-shredded carrots. I'm gonna add a good handful of those, like 3/4 of a cup of shredded carrots. And you can, if you want, you can kind of chop those up a little bit to get them smaller, to get them finer, but I'm not gonna do that today because I have to figure out the rest of my dinner. So that's what's going on here. So we've got our chicken stock, our mushroom stock, celery, carrots, onions, the herbs, salt, and the rice. I don't know if I already mentioned this, the wild rice. And I'm just gonna let that simmer for like an hour. And then I'm gonna, and actually, you know, pretty immediately I'm gonna throw these in because we want those to soften up as much as we can after I've chopped them up. And then I'm going to saute the mushrooms in some butter and garlic, probably like after dinner, right? After this has been cooking for a while. And then we'll just taste it and see how it goes. That's kind of it. This is really just such a lovely thing to do. I love making soup in the winter, and you know, make enough and don't torture your family with it all week, you guys. Put it in some containers and put it in the freezer and have it one night when you just really don't have any other options and you're dying, okay? you know, hit me up with any questions in the comments, and, you know, good luck. Have a good night. Bye.